Hi fellow investors, Joe here. We are looking at the stock chart of the manufacturer of the world's most expensive clothing racks. Yes, you guessed it, PTON, and there's so much to talk about in this chart, but I'm going to try to narrow it down to just looking at volume to help you understand when to sell a stock. But I can't resist just a couple real quick bonus things here. This is stage one. This is stage two. This is where you want to be buying the stock. This is stage three. This is where you want to get out. This is stage four. This is the no-go zone. You do not want to be bottom fishing right here. And here's a second little bonus tip that just jumped out at me. This is such a classic head and shoulders pattern, isn't it? So you got your head, you got your shoulder, you got your other shoulder that's lower than the first shoulder. Then you got the breakdown. You draw a line across the neckline. Then it did this big dead cat bounce, which is too high. It's supposed to only go to here. I bet everybody who was shorting got shaken out, and then away it went. But wow, I just derailed the train, so to speak. I need to talk about sell side volume. So here we go. But before I do, let me just remind you, this is not financial advice. This is just for education. This is just for entertainment. I'm not a professional analyst, but I have been investing since 1996. All right, now let's zoom in and look at the scene of the crime, stage three, when the stock began to break down, and let's look at volume indicators that gave us some big clues to get out while the getting is good. So we're going to zoom in. Now here is that head and shoulders. Jeez, sorry, I'm having a little trouble here. Okay, so you had a prior uptrend. You had a messy bottom. This is a little deep and it's a little short, but it worked. You had a big breakout, probably on earnings. And then it tried to make a base here, but it's really sloppy. It finally did calm down, but then it didn't make the right side of the base. But we are looking at volume. So you always, well, you don't always, I was going to say you always have big sell volume on the left side of the base of a cup, but this is really almost a flat base. So in this case, you want to see mostly just buy side large volume bars through the green bars. And we see a lot of sell side red volume bars there. And then we see some real ominous sell side volume here. Basically, when the stock's going up, you want a bunch of shares changing hands. And when the stock is down, you want it to be going down with only a few shares being exchanged. And therefore, you want small red bars on down days, Gary Black. And you want large volume bars on up days. You want large green volume bars. So here's our first real ominous sign. We had this spinning candle doji, which marks indecision. We don't really want indecision in a flat base. And the volume here was big. A lot of buyers decided to get the heck out. And then we saw another downside day on big volume. And then when it broke down, here we had a big reversing day. And that was on big volume. And then we saw another, then it undercut the 50-day on pretty big volume. And honestly, there's your spot to get out right there. And that was at 150. It's at 25 right now. But let's look a little more, see what else we can get out of this. But if you didn't get out there, these big volume days beneath the 50-day, those are very scary. And if you didn't get out here where you should have, you definitely should have gotten out there. And then in a Hail Mary attempt, buyers tried to buy it off of the 200-day, as is often the case. You saw a hammer come in. You saw some up volume. And I'm sure some people bought right here, but really you wanted it to get above this, maybe at 128 or so, or maybe finish this double bottom. But it rolled over. And then, you know, here's a little double bottom. I suppose you could have bought here if you were trying to bottom fish. But when it gapped down on this big volume here, this is a huge red flag that is waving right in the face. This is like the Chinese Russian, what am I saying? The Chinese parade, right? Red flags flapping all over the place. And based on this volume, you've got to get out right there. And that was at 100. And again, it's at 25. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about sell volume today. Would like to look at some other examples when I get a chance. But and it's to distill it all down, you want to see big volume on up days, low volume on down days. If you see a break of a support line with big down volume, that is a very ominous sign. And then lastly, when a stock is within a pattern and preparing to break out, you want to see the volume quiet down. So, well, I said this was sell side, but here's a little bonus buy side volume. Let's look at this great breakout if you had bought in 2020. So this is kind of this is called an IPO base, right? And notice within the base, the last couple months of the base, the green up volume is dominant. You want to see that. And then right before this breakout, see how quiet, can I zoom in there? See how quiet this volume got? And then you saw ramping up on big volume, and then this gap, breakout gap. This is not your Aunt Margaret buying shares, right? This is institutions swooping in, and when they buy, they keep buying, and that is exactly what happened. What a great run. I hope some of you guys got in on that. I missed the whole doggone thing. So I was like, what? I'm not paying $1,000 for a bicycle, a bicycle exercise machine. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. So my skepticism about the product made me miss out on this huge move, which goes to show, just let the chart do the talking, right? Because some of these fad stocks can make spectacular gains. The same thing with CROX, right? Oh, I'm not buying any rubber shoes, so I'm not buying CROX stock. Well, the first couple years of CROX stock's existence, here, let me just show you. Yeah, here was my attitude. What? Rubber shoes? No one's going to buy those. I'm not buying that stock. This was back in 2007 or so. So don't let your own jaded perceptions keep you out of stocks. If the chart's saying buy, then you buy it. And then you sell it when the chart says sell. Well, I got a little off topic there, but that's okay. It's Saturday. Let me know your thoughts on sell side volume or Peloton or CROX. I'm actually short Peloton right now, trying to decide when to get out. I need to get out while the getting is good. Although honestly, here's the Peloton chart. Honestly, the company's losing a ton of money. This product can be copied. There's a chance it might go out of business. I might try to ride this thing all the way down to $1. Sorry to all of the Peloton employees and so forth, but that's what it's looking like. Okay, I'm definitely going to wrap this up now. Have a great weekend.